Nobody prepares you for this. You spend years learning how to present yourself, how to dress for an interview, how to shake hands, how to speak with confidence in a room full of strangers. But nobody ever sits you down and explains the thing that actually determines how people treat you. Not your resume, not your appearance, not even the words you choose. It's the quiet patterns, the small, repeated behaviors, the things you do when nobody's watching, and the things you allow when everyone is. Because here's what most people never realize. You are always teaching. Every time you laugh off something that genuinely hurt you, every time you say yes when your whole body means no, every time you shrink just a little to make someone else more comfortable, you are sending a message, and the people around you are receiving it, whether they're conscious of it or not. This video is about 7 behaviors, not grand gestures, not overnight transformations, 7 quiet things that people who carry genuine self-worth tend to do without announcement, without performance, without ever needing to say a single word about it. And before we go any further, if you're tired of being the person who's easy to overlook, type "ready" in the comments, just that one word, because what comes next might be the most important thing you watch today. Let's begin. 1. You honor the promises you make to yourself. Let's start with the most overlooked one. Most people have a long list of private commitments, things they told themselves they would do, the boundary they said they'd hold, the habit they said they'd build, the thing they said they'd stop allowing. And most people break those commitments quietly, before the week is even over, without making a big deal of it, without telling anyone, because nobody else knows anyway. But here's the problem. You know, and your nervous system knows. Every time you abandon a promise you made to yourself, you are running an experiment, and the result is always the same. Your word means less than you think it does. Not to the world yet, but to you. And that internal verdict, that quiet conclusion your mind draws about your own reliability, is the foundation everything else is built on. Epictetus wrote that the first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself, not through force, but through consistency. When you begin keeping the small, private promises, the ones nobody else will ever know about, something shifts in how you move through the world. You stop second-guessing yourself as much. You stop needing external validation as a substitute for internal trust. You stop shrinking in moments that require you to stand, because the person who keeps their word to themselves becomes someone who genuinely believes their word matters, and that belief radiates. It's not something you have to perform. People just feel it. Start small, one promise this week. Keep it, not for anyone watching, for the version of you that's been waiting to believe you finally mean what you say. 2. You stop over-explaining your decisions. Pay attention the next time you say no to something. Count the sentences that come after it. Most people don't stop at one. They give a reason, then a backup reason, then a soft apology woven between both of them, then a reassurance that they're still a good person, still considerate, still someone who cares, and by the time they're done, the no has almost completely disappeared, buried under so many qualifications it barely exists. Here's what over-explaining actually communicates. It says, "I don't fully trust this decision yet. I need you to agree with it before I can feel okay about it." And the people on the receiving end, consciously or not, pick up on exactly that. They learn that your boundaries are negotiable, that if they push a little or express disappointment or simply go quiet long enough, something will give. The Japanese concept of ma, the art of deliberate space, of what is left unsaid, points to something Western culture rushes past. Silence has weight. Brevity carries authority. A complete sentence doesn't need a footnote. "I won't be able to make it" is a full answer. "I already have plans" is a full answer. "That doesn't work for me" is a full answer. You don't owe anyone a courtroom defense of your choices, and the moment you stop offering one, something subtle but unmistakable changes in how people receive your words. They trust them more because you trust them more. The explanation was never the problem. The need for one was. 3. You let uncomfortable moments breathe. Most people are terrified of unresolved tension. Silence falls and they rush to fill it. Someone seems distant and they immediately chase the reconciliation. There's friction and they smooth it over before it's had a chance to mean anything, not because the situation is actually resolved, but because sitting inside the discomfort, even for 60 seconds, feels unbearable. So they over-apologize. They soften things that needed to land. They make themselves responsible for everyone else's emotional temperature. And in doing so, they teach the people around them something powerful. Tension will always be relieved quickly, and the relief will come from me, regardless of who created the problem. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the discipline of not acting from anxiety, of learning to respond to what actually requires a response, rather than simply to what feels urgent. Discomfort almost always falls into the second category. It feels urgent. It rarely is. When you stop reflexively absorbing every awkward moment, when you allow silence to exist without rescuing it, when you let a hard truth sit in the room long enough to do its work, something changes in your relationships. People stop expecting the dynamic to always bend in their direction. They learn that your calm is genuine, not a performance, not a fragility dressed up as patience. They learn you can be present in difficulty without needing the difficulty to disappear, and they treat you accordingly. That steadiness, that ability to stay without flinching, is one of the quietest signals of self-respect available to you. You don't have to announce it, you just have to stop running from it. 4. You receive compliments without deflecting. Someone tells you that you did something well, and before they've even finished the sentence, you're already moving away from it. Oh, it was nothing. Anyone could have done it. Honestly, I almost didn't pull it off. You laugh a little, you redirect, you make yourself smaller than the moment they just tried to hand you. It feels like humility, and sometimes it is, but more often, deflecting a compliment is something else entirely. It's a subtle rejection of the person offering it, as if their perception of you can't quite be trusted, as if their positive experience of your presence or your work is somehow mistaken. And underneath that, there's a quieter belief that receiving good things graciously is dangerous, that agreeing with someone who sees your value is arrogance, that you're safer being underestimated than seen. Here's what nobody tells you. The way you receive a compliment is the way you teach people to see you. When you consistently dismiss their positive assessments, they begin slowly and quietly to question those assessments too. Not because they stopped believing, but because you modeled doubt so clearly they adopted it. Receiving well is a skill, and like every skill on this list, it doesn't require a performance. It just requires 2 seconds of stillness where you let something good land without flinching from it. Thank you. That means a lot. Full stop. No hedge. No self-deprecation chaser. No immediate pivot to something else. Just a clean, open receipt. The space where you allow yourself to be seen as capable, worthy, good, without immediately arguing against it. Maya Angelou understood that how we show others who we are shapes how they experience us. Let people see you as someone who belongs in the good moments, not just the apologetic ones.
5. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You know what shrinking looks like. It's sitting at the outer edge of a table instead of pulling your chair in. It's lowering your voice mid-sentence because you suddenly weren't sure your thought deserved full volume. It's the preemptive apology for taking up space before anyone has suggested you shouldn't. It's making yourself smaller, physically, verbally, energetically, as a kind of social insurance policy. A way of saying, before anyone else can, I won't take more than I'm given. The problem is, people tend to give you exactly as much as you claim. Body language is a language, and like any language, it communicates whether you intend it to or not. When you walk into a room like you're not sure you belong there, the room tends to agree. Not out of cruelty, out of following your lead. You set the tone, they matched it. Stopping this isn't about becoming someone who performs confidence they don't feel. That overcorrection reads as its own kind of insecurity, just louder. What the people who carry genuine self-respect tend to do is quieter than that. They walk in, they sit down, they speak at their actual volume. They let their presence be what it is without editing it downward before anyone asks them to. Seneca wrote about the freedom of simply being, of releasing the constant performance of yourself for others' approval. There is something profoundly settling in that. To stop negotiating your right to exist in a space, to arrive and allow yourself to simply be there. The room was never waiting for your apology, and it doesn't need one now. 6. You release what has already ended. Some things are over long before we let them go. The friendship that runs on memory and obligation with nothing new growing between you. The dynamic you've outgrown but keep showing up to maintain. The relationship that quietly drained to empty somewhere in the middle distance. And yet here you are, still tending to it, still making yourself available to a version of something that no longer exists. Holding on past the natural end of something isn't loyalty. It's a quiet form of self-abandonment. And it teaches the people watching that your presence is something to be assumed, not something to be cherished. That you will stay past the point of reciprocity, past the point of growth, past the point where it makes sense for someone who actually values their own time. There's a particular courage in releasing things cleanly, and you don't need drama to do it. Quiet endings are often the most dignified. A conversation that gradually grows shorter, a presence that slowly withdraws, an internal decision made without announcement. This is no longer something I am willing to carry. When you begin releasing what has genuinely run its course, not thinking about it, actually releasing it, you communicate something essential. Your time has weight. Your energy has value. Your emotional presence is not an endlessly renewable resource. And the people who remain, the ones who stay in the spaces you've kept, meet a version of you that has more to give because you stopped pouring yourself into things that stopped giving back. End what has ended, not with bitterness, not with a speech, with the quiet dignity of someone who has finally decided their presence deserves to be somewhere it is genuinely received. 7. You respond, you don't react. Someone says something that gets under your skin, your pulse lifts, your thoughts sharpen. Every part of you wants to answer immediately, to match the energy, to defend yourself, to correct the record, to let them know exactly what you think. That impulse is human, it's almost universal, and acting on it every time is one of the quietest ways you hand your power to someone else. Reacting is automatic. It says whatever just happened now has control over me. Responding is deliberate. It says I heard you and I will engage with you on my terms. The difference in the moment might look like nothing more than a breath, a pause, a single second where you choose not to immediately fill the air. But that pause is doing something significant. It's the space where your considered self arrives before your reactive self makes decisions you'll spend hours explaining. Epictetus built nearly his entire philosophy around this gap between stimulus and response. Lives a space, and in that space lives your freedom. Most people never find that space because they're already moving before they realize they had a choice. When you learn to live in that pause, even sometimes, even imperfectly, you project something that cannot be performed or faked, self-possession. And self-possession is one of the most magnetic qualities a person can carry. It tells the people around you that you're not moved by every gust of wind, that you cannot be easily destabilized, that engaging with you requires meeting someone who is actually present and actually in control of themselves. You will not always get it right. The reactive moment will still come, but the practice, the returning again and again to that small deliberate pause is where your worth gets quietly written and where other people quietly learn to read it. 7. Behaviors. None of them dramatic, none of them requiring you to become someone entirely different, none of them asking for a single announcement or declaration. That's what makes this both harder and more hopeful than it sounds. There's no single turning point here, no moment of transformation you can point to and say that's when everything changed. The change is quieter than that and slower, and once it takes hold, more durable than anything dramatic could ever produce. Because this isn't about performing a new version of yourself, it's about finally becoming the version that was already there, waiting for you to stop abandoning it. The person who keeps their word to themselves, who doesn't need 12 sentences to justify a simple answer, who can sit in discomfort without immediately resolving it, who receives good things without flinching, who takes up the space they're owed, who releases what has ended, who responds instead of reacts. That person doesn't announce themselves. They don't need to. The behaviors speak, and the people paying attention listen. You have been teaching people your worth all along. The only question now is what lesson do you want them to learn? If something in this shifted something in you, leave a comment. Just write, "I know my worth." No explanation needed. And if you're not subscribed yet, now is the time, because what's coming next continues exactly where this left off. Walk steady.